What is up, Yankee fans? I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and we are live to discuss Hot Stove, a lot of different stuff going on in Yankee world right now. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to Fireside Yankees, thank you for joining us for tonight's live stream. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Monday evening, a chilly Monday evening if you're in New York or the tri-state area. There is not as much to talk about as there have been on other nights. I think that's the best way to put it. I think most people would agree that as of right now, there's just not a lot of action on the Yankees fronts. For sure, you'd love to see, some sort of move or rumors, but remember, this is an off season. There's not a deadline for the Yankees to make moves that is coming up in the next couple of days or anything like that. We did just actually get news. Hold on, Jeff. This is not for the Yankees, though. Jeff Passan announces that Tomoyuki Sugano and the Baltimore Orioles are in agreement on a 1-year, $13 million contract. Sugano is 35 years old. He was one of the top pitchers in Japan. Now, granted, not someone with big swing and miss stuff. He's someone who doesn't really have top flight velocity or anything of the sort, but he's a finesse pitcher. He's a crafty pitcher. He is up in age. He's a little bit older. He's 35 years old, but this is someone who has, quite the pedigree in the NPB. This past season, he struck out 111 batters across 156 and 2/3 innings, put up a 1.67 ERA, high ground ball rates, some decent stuff. Nothing that blows you away, but he's a veteran pitcher who can mop up innings. I imagine that the Orioles were enticed by his extensive track record in Japan of being a successful pitcher. He profiles more of a back-end starter in my eyes, but it's an interesting move for sure for Baltimore. But definitely not one that I would look at and say it's a monumental shift. The Yankees AL situation is massive, or the AL East situation is shifted. The paradigm shifted. He's definitely a little bit of a question mark. Someone who, you're banking on them, their run prevention from the NPB, translating over to the United States, something that doesn't always guarantee. You're looking more for like swing and miss stuff. I'd love to see Sugano's projections for 2025. Unfortunately, I don't know where I could find those. So, again, just an interesting deal and an interesting kind of out of the nowhere move for the Baltimore Orioles. But let's get started talking about the chat a little bit here, kind of addressing here. And just to clarify, Ethan, the Baltimore Orioles signed Tomoyuki Sugano out of the NPB. They gave him a 1-year, $13 million contract. Yes, there's no posting fee. He is a free agent. He is free to sign with whatever team he'd like to sign with. So that situation right now with the Orioles, who just made this acquisition, of course, first reported by Jeff Passan of ESPN. Let's get started talking with the chat, though. Let's interact with everyone here. Thank you all for showing up. Aiden Davia says, hope Jack Curry breaks some news on Hot Stove tonight. Unfortunately, he did not. But what's up, John? What's up, Aiden? Why hasn't the Max Fried deal been announced? It should be noted, in regards to Max Fried and Yankee signings and making them official, it took, I believe, 2 weeks for the Judge signing to be official. It took about a week for the Cole signing to be official. The Yankees take their time with official announcements. I'm not sure Fried's, even in the United States right now, players go on vacation, all that stuff. I imagine, there's a holdup that doesn't have anything to do with health. I'm pretty confident, what's the best way to put it? I'm pretty confident in saying that Max Fried, that whatever is holding up the official deal has nothing to do with the completion of the deal, but rather, the fact that they're just not announcing it yet. There's some 40-man stuff involved there. You can delay the announcement of a signing to keep a 40-man spot open. So, yeah. Market's taking a break for the holiday. Yeah, no one big has gone off the board yet. And as Greg mentions here, Jack Curry, I think he kind of played his hand a little bit by indicating, the first big market, there's a lot of players who are a little more expensive than teams are willing to go for right now. The Bellinger deal, that's being held up over financials as well. I think that the Yankees are waiting to see this market kind of quiet down a little bit. They're going to try to beat the market up a little bit where they can before they try to, ultimately make any moves. I think the Yankees are going to be smart. They're going to be calculated. They're going to try to go out and get someone without overpaying, because let's be honest, this market is a little bit nuts right now, especially on the pitching side. The Yankees, I don't think, are particularly interested in, paying more than they have to for a player they think could give in at some point in time. We saw it last winter. A lot of free agents signed late, and they ended up getting smaller deals. Well, shit, let's lock in. Wrong account. What's good? I guess you should subscribe to Ball Knowers Anonymous, of course. Costs less to trade for first baseman. Hello, Yandy Diaz. Look, I love Yandy Diaz as an option. It depends on the willingness for the Rays to trade him. That I cannot confirm. I have no idea. I haven't, heard anything on that front. So, Diaz would be a good get. I've championed for Diaz before on this podcast, but yeah, I would love to see it happen. Not sure the likelihood because I don't know anything regarding that market. Who do you personally think we get next? I think Cody Bellinger will be the next move, but that's the thing. I am not completely sure the Yankees feel like they have to make that move. I don't think the Cubs feel like they have to trade him to the Yankees. I feel like there are both parties here who, are trying to play hardball with each other and don't feel like this isn't like Soto last year where it felt like the Padres had to make a move and they had to trade Soto. They had to free up money. And the Yankees, it kind of felt like they had to get Soto in that offseason. So this is a little bit different. Hey there, what's good, man? Hope you're having a good night. Mr. Monkey, what's up, Brian? You're one of the best Yankee content creators. Love the stuff, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a good night. Love your work, Ryan. Thank you, Joseph. Thoughts on Jock Peterson? I think he'd be a great offensive upgrade. He doesn't have a positional fit with the Yankees. He is a DH. Stanton is a DH. I don't view Peterson as an option at first base. Have it on good information that he will not play there. And then the outfield, the Yankees don't really have a corner outfield spot he fits well at. He's not a left fielder that's capable of playing for this team. Yankees should look at Michael Toglia. If available, sure, would love, Toglia's power, but I don't think that he's getting moved. I don't think that the Rockies are particularly interested in moving a cost-controlled infielder, someone entering their age 26 season who has the upside that he has. He's got monstrous power. Perhaps with a little more playing time, he could settle into the first base role. He had really good DRS numbers, although outs above average didn't like him as much. This is someone who has the upside to be a high-quality player. I just heavily doubt that the Rockies are looking to move someone like this right now, considering that they just haven't really consistently been sellers. They've shown that they're not going to sell just to sell. They're a weird team. They've had opportunities to sell in the past, and they haven't taken advantage. With a good ERA, Sagana looks sneaky good. ERA is a little bit misleading. I care more about your stuff. How's your stuff profile? How does your arsenal look? How do your swing and miss numbers look? That's what I think translates to the major leagues. But Sagano can be a quality starting pitcher, I believe, at the highest level. He is someone who has the pitch diversity and maybe benefits from, pitching in Major League Baseball, where there's a little more data and a little more resources you can use to try to coax some more swing and miss. With that being said, Ace P says, what's good, Ryan? Hope you're having a good night, man. Hope it's all as well. Hope you're having a good night too, Ace P. If it comes to a point where the Yankees come back out on Bellinger, who do you think they pivot to? I think Taylor Ward makes a lot of sense. Taylor Ward, I know he's a right-handed hitter. Last year, he had a pretty strong season at the plate. Again, I really want to figure out a situation where I can, and I think I can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try sharing my screen. We'll see what happens here. If I can. Don't know if I can present. Share screen. We're going to share this one tab. Awesome. I want to zoom this in a little more. Let's see what we can do. That doesn't really work. That doesn't work either. We're going to figure this out together, folks. We're going to figure this one out together. I think this kind of works, right? This like kind of works. We'll play with it a little bit. I'll throw a little background here so that's not barren. But so let's kind of look at this for a second here. I'm going to pull off this right here. Okay. So, Taylor Ward is, and my mic just did a thing. Taylor Ward is a high level ball player. We're going to zoom in a little bit here. I don't know how well can you guys read what's on the screen. I need an honest answer from somebody. If you guys can read this really well, just let me know if you guys can or can't. But Murakami, Taylor Ward had a really strong offensive season, a 111 WRC plus, a 13% barrel rate. He had a 90.9 exit velocity. He had a 9.5% walk rate. The swinging strike rate, 10.2%. That's roughly league average. This is someone who makes good swing decisions. So this is what we're going to identify here. Swing percentage is chase rate. How often do you expand from the strike zone swing rate? How often do you swing at pitches in the strike zone? It remained unchanged from last year. He was just as aggressive in zone as ever, but he cut his chase rate down by about 4%, 4.1% there. Exit velo went up, barrel rate went up, WRC plus went up, and look at that expected weighted on base average, 351. He hit 25 home runs. This is someone who I think has the ability to be a firmly above average hitter in the 2025 season. Look at the game log a little bit here. Let's see his second half stats. So after the All-Star break, put up a 125 WRC plus, hit for a little more power. I'm pretty sure he had a strong month of June, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that. No, he did not. Oh, excuse me here. So, if you dice up his season, had a better second half than first. He's got good numbers. He's a good hitter. I think that he's someone that personally I would target Taylor Ward, and I'd aggressively shop him on the market. I think he's someone who could really benefit the Yankees here. I'm going to try to skim ahead a little bit because I know I'm really behind. Orioles penny pitching again. I think it's a cheap move, sure, but we'll see if it works out for them. I don't know how long it's going to take for Bellinger trade to happen. I would imagine that it's going to take, time. I imagine that the Yankees are going to hardball the Cubs as much as they can. I'm sure the Cubs are going to hardball the Yankees as much as they can. I don't think that the Padres would trade Fernando Tatis Jr. So, yeah. I think that Bregman not being mentioned by Curry, that would kind of indicate that maybe the Yankees aren't into Bregman, but he also didn't mention anyone outside of the first baseman. So maybe that indicates that we don't really know what they're doing in the outfield or first base right now. What do you think our odds are in the Sasaki sweepstakes? Very low, maybe 5%. Steve Cohen destroyed the market. Now elite players with a mind $500, $600 million. I think there's a difference between who Juan Soto is and who most free agents are. He's very young. That's part of it. Let's tell the Diamondbacks we'll take Eugenio Suarez on contract on a deal. Now, Eugenio Suarez, and we're going to, go to the good old fan graphs here. Suarez is someone who I think would make a lot of sense for the Yankees. There's a couple of key things here that he does the Yankees need. The power, 30 home runs, 115 WRC plus, much better second half, solid defender over the last 2 seasons, consistently around that 3 WAR threshold over the last 3 years. He had that 2-year stint where he wasn't very good. But if you look at really for the latter part of about 8 years now, he's been one of the better third basemen in baseball. He's recorded at least 3 WAR in 6 of his last 8 seasons. This is the kind of player the Yankees would love to add at third base. Even 2020, this is pacing for about a 2 WAR year. Let me double check my math on that. But I'm pretty sure it's pacing for like a 2 WAR season, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I apologize about my audio. But my audio is being a little weird. I apologize. But we're going to do the math real quick here. If you take 231, you divide it by, 1.1 divided by 231 and multiply it over 600 play appearance sample size, it's a 2.9 WAR. So, he projects, he's a roughly 3 WAR player outside of 1 year in 2021. This guy's consistent, but I think that's why the Diamondbacks won't trade him. So, yeah. Got to keep the Martian. I think they will. We're going to see. I'm going to try to skip ahead a little bit, get some questions here, and I apologize. We're going to get to some questions now that are a little bit closer to the top of the chat. And I did want to get to this one here from Jack, my boy. Jack is awesome. You guys should follow him. His Twitter handle is the same as his display handle here, or display name here. And of course, you guys can check him out at MLB Nerds on Twitter as well. So there's a lot, you guys should check out his content. It's very good. He's got some really fun lists he's throwing. I think he's doing his top 100 right now, and he just dropped some top 10 lists. So you guys should check that stuff out. Rhys Hoskins is making $17 million, this season. The Brewers are looking to move him. The Yankees have, a player in Marcus Stroman who could be of interest to the Brewers, who need some starting pitching, and it would be a 1-for-1 swap. Jack mentioned this, kind of in a side conversation. And this is an interesting idea as something where Hoskins hits the ball really hard. He doesn't chase too much. The swing and miss hasn't really been a problem. 9.8% swing and strike rate. That's not high. I know the strikeout rate itself is pretty high. He's coming off of an ACL tear. Last year, he was coming off of one. Missed the entire 2023 season. If he can live up to his 106 projected WRC plus, he kills lefties. Is he someone who could entice the Yankees? We'll see. I don't think it's a likely option, but I think it's one worth noting. Brandon Marsh. Marsh is someone that I also think is of interest. Now, Brandon Marsh, last season, obviously played with the Philadelphia Phillies, entering his age 27 season, has been a solid hitter in each of the last 2 seasons with the Phillies. Since joining the Phillies, if I'm not mistaken, he's been a highly productive hitter. He's been, he's just been a firmly above average hitter. He's an excellent base runner. He's someone who provides base running value, an excellent defensive outfielder. Lots of strikeouts. That's something I think won't appeal to fans, but there's a ton of pop here in his swing. There's decent patience. They've gotten him to swing out of zone a lot less. He's worked his walk rates up as a result. Let me just try to scroll left, but I can't. Let me just zoom out a little bit, see if that fixes the problem. He had a 10% walk rate this past year, 12.5% the year prior. The one concern here with Marsh is left-handed bat pitchers, Lefties murdered this guy. Lefties have always murdered Marsh. He has 56, 96, 35, 54 WRC plus. Much better against right-handed pitching. The Yankees kind of killed right-handed pitching last year. You wonder if Marsh is someone who really fits that need. If he was someone who could hit lefties, I think it would work. He also doesn't pull the ball a ton. This isn't someone who has high pull rates. That's something that kind of concerns me as a hitter that's going to leave somewhere like Philadelphia, where there's, a very playable left field for home runs. Yankee Stadium, not the same way. I wonder if he'd see his home run rates drop if he were to go to the Yankees. But definitely someone who's a good player, someone who I think, kind of fits the mold of what the Yankees are looking for in the outfield. Just maybe not the greatest ballpark fit. I really want the Yankees to get Cody Bellinger. He's a good fit. I think Bellinger's a good fit as well, but I think that, you have to do it at the right price tag. Let's see what else we got here. Random thought, why did I just learn who Edwin Ucita is? He's very good. He's awesome. He's a great relief pitcher. He rocks. Let's see what else we've got. Thoughts on Willie Castro. So I wanted to talk about Willie Castro, and I'm sorry that I'm kind of cutting ahead for questions here. There's just so many, and I want to get to all of them, and I will get to as many as I can. We're going to talk about Willie Castro for a second here because he's someone I mentioned on Twitter a few times, someone who I've mentioned on the live stream yesterday. Willie Castro, each of the last 2 seasons, signed a minor league deal with the Twins. He came up with the Tigers, was a young, interesting prospect. Let's pull up his prospect report here. He was ranked as one of their top 20 prospects, a 45 FV prospect, pretty solid, overall coming up through the system. In his minor league career, he had some strong seasons in AAA. In 2019, he had a good year. They didn't have the 2020 season, so that obviously affected that. He had a strong 2020 year at the major league level, but it didn't translate. He struggled after that. But the Twins brought him in, and he was able to become a pretty solid hitter. So Castro over the last 2 seasons, 108 WRC plus each of the last 2 years. 5.6 F4, played only 124 games in 2023, played 158 in 2024. This is an above average player. His stolen base rates went down for some reason. He stole 33 bases and stole only 14. But I do think the Yankees could get some good stolen base production out of him. And he profiles a pretty solid defensive third baseman, 1 defensive run saved, 2 outs above average. Not as great at second base. He's had a couple of good years, a couple of rough ones. He's a little bit inconsistent there. I think third base would work the best for him. Shortstop, he cannot play shortstop. You can maybe throw him in the outfield, definitely not center field. The Yankee fans have seen him personally play center field, but I think the ability to play some outfield, play some infield, but primarily stick him at like third or second. He's got a decent enough bat. There's, a lot of pull here in the air. Someone mentioned the home runs. Yes, he would have had 19 expected home runs at Yankee Stadium instead of 12 this year. I think he's the kind of player who would play well at Yankee Stadium, the kind of player who could hit, maybe 15 home runs, provide you, with a solid OBP, good contact rates, hit some extra base hits. He had 31 doubles last year, 5 triples. Could he be a 30 double, 15 home run, 5 triple kind of guy at Yankee Stadium with, roughly a similar WRC plus? Maybe it's a little higher at Yankee Stadium. Maybe the home runs going up helps him a little bit. I think it could be like a 110 WRC plus hitter with solid defense at the hot corner. We'll see though. Have the Yankees shown interest in Luis Arraez? There have been no public reports about the Yankees' interest in Luis Arraez. And I also want to mention Luis Arraez, not because I think he's a bad player, but because I think he's a fundamentally misunderstood player. Luis Arraez is not changing the dynamic of your offense. He's not. He had a 109 WRC plus last season, -1 BSR. He is a woefully bad defensive player. Even at first base, he is not very good. Outs above average, really don't like him. Defensive run saved, don't really like him. I know he had a pretty good defensive season at first in 2022, but since then it's kind of tanked. Second base, it's been up and down. I think that most people would agree he's not a great defensive second baseman. Not particularly strong at third either. He's had good, again, it's good DRS, bad OAA. That's a reflection of range. Outfield, can't really stick him out there either. His problem is just defense and base running. It's really bad. But is the bat good? I think Luis Arraez is an above average hitter. I really do think that. I think he's a good hitter. I don't think he's a great one. I think he's a good one. And I think his bat would play a little better at Yankee Stadium power-wise, but I'm not so sure it would play very well at Yankee Stadium in terms of BABIP. If you guys notice, 339 BABIP, the league average batting average on balls in play is around 300. Arraez is always going to be above that because he has really good bat-to-ball skills. But Yankee Stadium had an average BABIP of 265 for left-handed batters last year, one of the lowest marks in the league. This is someone who's going to struggle to keep that BABIP up, even if the slug goes up. And then doesn't walk a ton. This is someone who profiles maybe for like the 5th spot in the lineup. Again, I don't think Luis Arraez is a bad hitter. I don't think he's a terrible hitter. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think he's someone who, teams should be a little cautious about trading for. Now, if he plays first base for the Yankees, is he the worst defensive player ever? No. But if he plays, second base, that's probably a problem. If he plays third base, I think he could stick at third. I don't know if that's a hot take. I think he could. The arm isn't terrible. The range is really the problem here. Could he stick at third? Maybe. But if you're not going to, if you're going to lean into pitching, you kind of need to have a good defender. Arraez does not strike me as a particularly strong defensive player. I think there are better ways to improve your team that don't include Luis Arraez. So, you got to really stretch it to try to, make Luis Ariz work. And I feel like when you have to stretch it to make a player work, maybe not the best fit in the world. And maybe you have to look at other options. Alec Boehm is someone who I think would actually be a good option. I'm going to say about Goldschmidt now. The age is a concern. He fell off pretty dramatically last year. Way more swing and miss. That's concerning. I'm firmly out on Goldschmidt at this point in time. But Boehm, on the other hand, had a 115 WRC plus. You've got, really good combination of skills here. So number one, chase rate. Look at the chase rate these 2 years, 35.4, 34.3. Now it's 31%, above average swing decision making. That's a 31% chase rate, 72.8% zone swing rate. So he's swinging in zone a ton still. That hasn't gone away. Still super aggressive when he gets a pitch to hit, but he's not chasing at everything. That's huge. And the swinging strike rate, it's the lowest of his career. He swung and missed less this year than at any point in his career. Strikeout rate reflects that as well. Walk rate of 6.6%, not great, but you'll take it because he makes so much contact. And decent game power, 168 isolated power. That's the highest of his career. So he hit for more power this year than any other year of his career. Struck out less than any other years of his career. He had a better chase rate basically than each of the last 2 seasons. He probably made the best swing decisions of his career. Hit the ball really hard still. Good EVs. One problem here, ground ball rate. But even then, right, you look at the ground ball rates in his career, they've been really high. Like last year, it dropped to 42.3%. Sure, more line drives, but he's seeing the ball with some authority, increased the barrel from last year. The thing that's encouraging is that you see the contact rates, you see the swing decisions, you see the strikeout rates. They've all improved. The WRC plus improved as a result. And here's also the big key here. He had 4 straight seasons of being one of the worst defensive players in the game. He's just truly awful on the dirt. Couldn't find a spot for him on the infield. Then he becomes a positive defender. Why did that happen? Let's look at his outs above average and his fielding run value and his DRS at third base. -10, -17, -13, -6 in 300 innings. Yuck. PU, that stinks. To, hey, 0 DRS, 4 outs above average, 3 fielding run value. So one of the worst defensive third basemen in the sport become a kind of above average one. Can play a little bit of first base. Not great there. Wouldn't really stick him at first. Would occasionally spot start if you have to at first. But he's someone who makes sense for the Yankees. The big problem is the asking price. And this is something that Graham highlights here beautifully. The Phillies asked for Mason Miller. They tried to use him as a headliner in Kyle Tucker. There are so many crazy asks he's had. So I don't view Alec Boehm as someone who's going to be a New York Yankee in 2025, barring some unbelievable talking down in price points. Let's talk about Christian Walker too. Christian Walker is a popping name in the Yankee universe for good reason. He's someone who Brian Hoke mentioned as the most likely fit for the Yankees at first base, someone who has been routinely discussed by the New York Yankees, or by people covering the Yankees. He's someone that the team thought they were going to be really close to having a deal with at some point. Unfortunately, it just didn't come to fruition. I don't think it's something that, is going to stop a potential deal from happening if they can come back to a deal. But Walker's asking for quite a bit, and the Yankees are not conceding. So let's look at a couple of things here with Christian Walker. Number one, swing decisions. This is an elite swing decision maker. He is super aggressive in zone, doesn't chase. That's the good stuff. Walk rate, 10%. Beautiful. Power, barrel rate, 13.3%. Gorgeous, right? Hits the ball super hard. Hits the ball in the air. Doesn't hit it on the ground. That's beautiful stuff, folks. Expected weighted on base average, 354. That's the highest he had since, 2022 is not too long ago, but it's, a sign that he was closer to, his age 31 season than his age 32 season. The one massive concern I have, swinging strike rate. Jumped up from 10.2% to 11.9%. Now dropped back down 11.5%, but that's roughly average. The strikeout rate, 24.1% compared to 19.2%. Remained a similarly productive hitter, better underlying metrics. The only concern is this right here. This is the only concern I have. It's this right here. Is this going to spike up in 2025? Is that going to, cut down a little bit? What's going to happen with this mark in 2025? That is a big question mark, but projections love Christian Walker for good reason. Again, the batted ball data got so much better that you're kind of like, would you take 2% barrel rate increase for a 24.1% strikeout rate? I think I would, and I think Christian Walker should and would do the same thing. He's been a productive hitter for 3 straight years now. Again, kind of in the similar vein to like a Eugenio Suarez. He has been a productive player in 4 of his last 5 seasons. Even if you got this 2019 111 WRC plus 3 WAR, 29 home runs, that's a win, right? That's a win for the New York Yankees. That's a huge step up over first base. The only question is how many years is he going to get? How willing are the Yankees to go to a third or fourth year? I don't think the Yankees should go to a fourth year for him. We'll see how the power plays in Yankee Stadium as well, but this is a very, very good first baseman who has very, very good projections. So, yeah. Why does no one talk about Ha-Seong Kim? I think he's perfect for what they want. I love this mention. Let's talk about Ha-Seong Kim. Ha-Seong Kim is perfect for the New York Yankees, in my opinion. I fully agree. Now, Ha-Seong Kim obviously had shoulder surgery and he ended his 2024 season prematurely, but he is a premium player. He is a premium player when you look at defense in the infield, up the middle, on the dirt. You want this guy with a glove on your team. Over the last 3 seasons has been very consistent. He has been a solid player. He has a 105, 110, and 101 WRC plus in each of the last 3 seasons. Kind of the first year he's underperformed his expected weighted on base average. He barreled as many balls as he did last year, basically. Hit the ball just as hard, hit the ball in the air, still had great swing decisions. In fact, he chased a little less. That's super encouraging. I love that. And so, I don't really know what happened outside of that shoulder injury. Actually even struck out less. That's also super encouraging. So cuts down the swing and miss. Isolated power remains the same. The BABIP just dropped. And to me, that isn't sustainable. When someone has a 261 BABIP, that isn't happening again. I don't think he's going to put up that number again. If you ask me, I'd want Ha-Seong Kim in this team. He feels like a good bounce back candidate. And projections agree. 106 WRC plus, 3 WAR. You'd love for that from Ha-Seong Kim in 2025. He immediately boosts the Yankees defense. Let's look at some of his defensive numbers. Shortstop, 24 defensive runs saved in 2,500 innings and 11 outs above average. Beautiful. Third base, 9 defensive runs saved and just 590 innings of work there. Mwah. Beautiful. Second base, and this is where I think the Yankees should play him because I think Jazz has a better arm. 15 defensive runs saved, 8 outs above average, 1,000 innings played at second. I mean, this is the guy's going to win the Gold Glove at second base. You bring him into the American League, he'll be the best defensive second baseman outside of maybe Andres Jimenez in the AL. He'll walk a ton. That helps. He'll steal a ton of bases. That's 60 in a 273 game sample size. That's really nice. Doesn't get caught a ton, doesn't strike out a ton, hit some home runs, 17 this year. That year would have probably paced for around, a similar total, if I'm not mistaken. He has some doubles. He can hit some triples. This is just a good ball player, guys. Just a good ball player. Someone who the Yankees should be heavily invested in. No qualifying offer. 29 years old. He turns 30 next winter. You get a guy in their prime. You get a guy who's defensively unbelievable. You get a guy who makes a ton of contact, works walks, and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think that it would be truly, truly a beautiful, beautiful addition for the Bronx Bombers. So, and for his Ha-Seong Kim, who's Ha-Seong Kim actually did play with Ha-Seong Kim. I don't view Ha-Seong Kim as a great fit for the Yankees, and this is why. So 118 WRC plus in the KBO. Strikeout rate is low. That's great. Contact rates are high. That's great, but let's look right here. Those ground ball rates, yuck. That's not what we're looking for, right? Will he BABIP 375 in Major League Baseball? No. Will he have a BABIP of 350 in Major League Baseball? No. Is he a great defensive player? Yes. He's a great base runner? Yes. But I'm absolutely not buying into the fact that this guy could be an above average bat to Major League level. And I won't buy into that unless I get, a sample size that I need to get data that indicates otherwise. So, yeah. Get first base low and second base low. Let's talk about the lows. Let's talk about the lows, the lows, the highs, and the lows. We'll talk about Nathaniel Lowe first. Nathaniel Lowe, first baseman, age 29 season. He'll turn 30 in July. I guess last year was his age 29 season. I don't know how you'd count that. But 121 WRC plus, that's good. 117 the year before, 143. Obviously, this is beautiful. He hit way more home runs. If the Yankees could get him to do that, that would be sick. I don't know if they can, but he did sacrifice a lot of power for swing and miss. Not sure that's the right career choice for him. But if you look at the, defense was bad for most of his career, and then it became really freaking good over the last 2 years. 7 outs above average, 3 outs above average, 3 defensive runs saved, 1 defensive run saved. If he's that good of a defender at first base, hey, that's going to help the Yankees. This is a concern, though. 22 double plays, high ground ball rate, Yankee Stadium, a lot of opposite field power. That's concerning, right? You want him to pull the ball a little more in the air, get it to right field. But if he can maintain, a 120 WRC plus and provide solid defense, that's someone who you'd love to add and import to the Yankees. The key here, 358, 357, 360, 361. High OBPs. Maybe someone you could lead off in front of Aaron Judge. Jurickson Profar is someone who, we're going to talk about, hold on, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I forgot about Brandon Lau. Now, Brandon Lau is a really, really above average bat, someone who I think could really help this offense. Someone the Yankees should be targeting in the trade market if possible. Brandon Lau put up a 123 WRC plus, underperformed his underlying metrics, hits the bejeebus out of the ball. He hits the ball really hard. He has a really high swinging strike rate, but that's not really an issue to me. Strike rates have always been manageable. He has a 12.4% barrel rate, super aggressive in zone. Yes, that results in some chases, but that's fine because he's going after everything in zone. The prototypical three hitter, the kind of masher you want at Yankee Stadium. 21 home runs in each of the last 2 seasons. He's someone who paces to be a 30 home run hitter if he can just freaking stay healthy, which, if that turns you off of a player, that's fine. But he is truly an offensive force. He is only owed $10 million this year. He's only owed $10 million. I think he's pick up a club option next year, assuming they acquire him in that scenario. He's got serious thump. He's got serious power. He's got juice in the bat. He's only going to be 30. At the start of the season, he'll turn 31. He's a premier offensive second baseman and a left-handed bat, someone who would certainly help the Yankees a ton. Now, as for why the Rangers would trade Lau, they signed Jake Berger. There are rumors that they're shopping Nathaniel Lowe. I believe that Nathaniel Lowe is someone they would move for the right price point. Ryan Mountcastle, that's an interesting name for first base, someone that I think the Yankees should show some interest in because his swing at Camden isn't really like the swing at Camden isn't working because of that fence, right? They moved the fence all the way back. They finally moved it forward, but each of the last 3 seasons, 110 WRC plus, some decent game power, cut down this year because of injury and left field. His defense at first base over the last 3 seasons, you'll take this. You'll take this at first base. You'd happily have this at first. And he's someone who, look at these underlying metrics. Why are they underlying? What happened here? What seems to have happened here is that Ryan Mountcastle is playing in a ballpark that doesn't fit for him. And if you look at his splits, which we're going to pull up now, and you look at, we're going to look at how he plays on the road versus at home. The at-home power. This is what we want to focus on because WRC plus is one thing. His power is actually a little better at Camden. So maybe he does adjust his swing there and it kind of doesn't play well elsewhere. But he's someone who I think can help the Yankees. Not a lot of swing and miss. Good amount of pop. Does chase a lot, which is a problem. But power, let his own contact. This is a little concerning, though. 8.8% barrel rate. Maybe that's something that the Yankees maybe that's something that the Yankees would be weary of in a potential deal. Obviously, the ground ball rate going up, not ideal either, but he's a solid player. He is a solid player. Let's see. Are they done dealing? They're not done dealing. Profar. Now let's talk about Jurickson Profar because I know that's something that someone mentioned. And let's talk a little bit about his profile. Now, Jurickson Profar last season, 139 WRC plus. Now, is he a 1-year wonder? Is this it? Is this the only year where Jurickson Profar will be very good? I am going to push back against that notion that this is a 1-year wonder. Let's look at a couple of key things here. Exit velocity has always trended as a below average exit velo guy. Randomly spikes to 91.1 miles an hour. Hard hit rate, never above 34.3%. Now it's 44.2%. Those are mechanical changes. Those are changes that come as a result of some serious progress. And the other big thing here, look at the swinging strike rate. Did it go up? Nope, 7%. That is the lowest he's had since 2016, folks. He was not increasing the swing and miss to get more power. He was decreasing the swing and miss and generating more power. He hit 24 home runs. That's a career high for him. The 2 years he hit 20 home runs was a juice ball era. Let's look at the swing decisions. Super patient, lots of walks, 26% chase rate, 11.4% walk rate, 15.1% strikeout rate, switch hitter, 70.7% in-zone aggression rate. That's a lot of in-zone aggression. He has good pop again. He improved his game power. Good amount of doubles, 29 doubles, 25 home runs. The only problem is the defense in the outfield. Now, defensive and also his win probability added. He was so good in clutch situations. That's not a skill. That's more of just a thing that happened. But if you look at his outfield defense, that's where the problems arise. Left field, -8 DRS, -6 outs above average last year. First base, he's actually been a good defender of theirs. Is that somewhere where the Yankees could stick him? Is that something the Yankees could try to do? I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a risk, but Profar is certainly someone who could entice the Yankees with his bat and potentially get a 3-year deal, not like a 5-6-year deal at a cheap cost. But who else do we've got here? Any news on Bellinger? We know nothing more than we knew yesterday, just that money seems to still be an issue for the Yankees. And And that's fair. You know, I don't think the Yankees should be tasked with adding on all that salary. By the way, if you guys are here and enjoying this content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, subscribe. Appreciate you guys a ton for all the love you guys have been showing us lately. We've been going crazy on these streams. I love you guys so much. So, you know, again, if you're here, you're new to the channel, you aren't subscribed, just make sure you check the subscription button and that you are. I want to pull up the data now for this, but I'm pretty sure in terms of our audience, we have mostly unsubscribed viewers. 58.8% of our viewers are not subscribed, or at least so it's over the last 28 days. If we extrapolate that sample size, it's a little bit larger. So if you're viewing, if you like this content and you're not subscribed, just click that button. It's free, and we're going to deliver you guys content consistently. But no one wants to hear that. Let's talk about ball players. Let's talk about Yandy Diaz and Josh Naylor. Yandy Diaz, someone who I'm not sure what his availability looks like, but I have sung his praises on this channel. Yandy Diaz, look, he had a down year last year compared to his two peak years in 22 and 23. I mean, look at that 163 WRC plus. Good God, that's gaudy. But this past season still was very good. You know, we're talking about going from one of the 5 best hitters in the sport to, oh yeah, I'm one of the better hitters in the sport still. That 120 WRC plus, that 351 OBP. Is he someone who could get better with the spray charts at Yankee Stadium? He's someone who could start driving the ball to right field. There's a decent amount of center field power here. Not a lot of pull, not a lot of oppo. Can the Yankees get him a little more to right field? Say, hey, less center field. Let it track a little later. Let's go to the right. Let's go to right field. Let's go hit some balls to right field. A lot of ground balls. That's a concern. I understand. He's going to hit into a lot of double plays if he's not leading off. But if you do lead him off, you can kind of mitigate that. These double play totals are high, but they're not as high as they should be given his batted ball profile. Walk weight went down last year. That's a concern. Chase rate went up 22.8, 25.6. Swing and miss went down from last year. Maybe he wants to invite a little more swing and miss and see that power go back up because a 192 ISO, you don't want it to be 133. You want it to be closer to this mark. His projections are very, very nice. You know, if he has a 155 ISO next year, and yeah, if he hits 287 and has that kind of isolated power, yeah, he'll be a 136 WRC plus hitter. And if the Yankees can import a 136 WRC plus bat for first base, man, that would be quite an upgrade over what they have. So, Drew, I absolutely love the idea of Yandy Diaz. And then Josh Naylor. You know, Josh Naylor is someone who I think, championed for on this channel more than most. And the reason I'm so I'm casting a wide net when it comes to first base targets, because I understand the scarcity of power and production on this market. You know, Josh Naylor hits the crap out of the ball. Here's what Josh Naylor is going to do for you. He's going to hit a lot of home runs. He's not going to walk a lot, but, you know, he's still going to hit, you know, he's shown some hit tool. He's hit 300 before. He's hit 300. He's hit 256 before. Can he get that hit tool up? He's shown higher BAPIPs. The BAPIPs kind of fluctuated. I don't know if you can stably project, if you can give me a stable BAPIP projection here. I'm going to slow down my talking. I'm talking really fast. I'm just so exciting. I love pulling up Fangraphs pages and just talking about ball players. That shit gets me so excited. So you've got Naylor. He had a career year in terms of the power, 31 home runs, 233 isolated power. Average dropped. I don't know if that had anything to do with, his line drive rate did drop, but his BAPIP, I don't think it should drop this much. He hit the ball really hard. It doesn't really make sense. Good EVs, swing decisions, super aggressive in zone, not as patient. He's going to chase, but walk rate went up to 9.2% this year. That's a good progression for him. If he can keep it around that rate, that's great. But the unique thing here is the strikeout rates. Look at that. He's not striking out a lot. He's hitting for a lot of power. That's weird. That's a unique profile. And the defense at first base, it's solid, right? Like, I think he's a solid defensive first baseman. I did not mean to move my mic. Totally jacked up my mic here. I'm sorry. Look, his defense at first base does leave at times things to be desired, but outs above average, they think he's a firmly above average defender. So I would say look at his defense yourself, watch some film, and, you know, maybe you can get a better deduction from that. Look, I get it. Yeah, not an athlete. Where's that? Not a great athlete. Bellinger is. Guess what? I need power. I need thump. The Yankees need some thump. The Yankees are losing 45 home runs in Juan Soto. You need to get some thump. You do. You desperately need someone who can drive the ball out of the yard. Josh Naylor is someone who can do that for you. And I don't know if I can. Can I share this? I'm gonna just type in StatCast. We're gonna see what I can do here. Share this tab instead. Is that going to work? Yes, it will. We're going to go to the Illustrator here. We're going to go to Baseball Savant's Illustrator. Beautiful stuff here. We're going to share this tab instead. let's take a look here. Look at these spray charts, right? We're going to look at these spray charts. Where is it at? Where are we at? So look at his spray charts over Yankee Stadium. Got a couple home runs that would get out here. Maybe a couple that wouldn't get out here. 1, 2, probably like 3. I'd say these 3 don't get out here. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He got this is just a swing that works here. Let's look at this 2023 spray charts. Again, a lot of home runs to be had there. Let's look at the 2022 spray chart. Again, there are a lot of home runs to be had here, guys. This is the kind of hitter who just kind of makes sense at Yankee Stadium. I think he's someone who the Yankees would show a great deal of interest in. He has good pull rates. I think he makes sense for the Yankees from that perspective. I don't know why I stopped sharing my screen. We're going to do that again. We're going to share our screen. We're going to go to Josh Naylor, share. Sorry about that. But his swing works here. It just does. So, yeah. Nathaniel Lowe's a better hitter and fielder than Naylor. I push back on the notion he's a better hitter for Yankee Stadium. He's not a better hitter for Yankee Stadium. Naylor is a pull hitter. Lowe is an opposite field hitter. As a left-handed hitter, I think Naylor's a better hitter for Yankee Stadium. But I do agree Lau is a better defender. And I do also agree that, you can argue that Lau can get there. Lau can pull the ball in the air, perhaps at a ballpark where it can help. Just another guy clogging up the bases. If you can find me a fast first baseman who absolutely mashes, go right ahead. Show me the fast first baseman who mashes. You're going to get slow at first base. You're always going to be slow at first base. You will always be slow at first base. That's just a matter of fact. Can't be obsessed with athleticism at first base, speed, or all that stuff. You got to be enamored with defense and offense. That's all you got to care about at first base. Yankee Stadium was built for Pete Alonso. Let's talk about Pete Alonso. Let's have a conversation about Pete Alonso because, and I hope I don't turn off Yankee fans here. Pete Alonso on a 2-year deal, I would be in for. But there are massive concerns. I have some big time concerns about him. Number one, let's look at the swing decisions in 2021 and 2022. Super aggressive, which is fine. Super aggressive, mega aggressive, right? He wants to attack the ball in zone. He's going to chase a little bit, but that's fine because he's not striking out. Look at how hard he's hitting the ball, right? He's crushing the ball. Look at how many home runs he's hitting, 40, 37, right? Look at the WRC plus, 131, 141. Like, you kind of don't care that he's such a bad defender. You don't care that he's chasing a little too much because he's hitting the ball so hard. He's hitting the ball in the air. He's hitting for a decent average. Look at the average, 265. Look at the OBP, 348, right? Like, he's hitting for average. He's hitting for power. He's an all-around hitter. This is the kind of guy that the Mets would never let go, blah, blah, blah. Steve Cohen's their owner. There's no shot they let this guy go. They would never let him walk. And then 2023 happens. Sure, he hits 46 home runs, the most he's hit in a season since 2019. But look at that WRC plus. It drops 141 to 121. Now you might go, look at the expected numbers. It's fine. It's fine that striker rate went up. It's fine that his zone aggression went down. It's fine that his average plummeted, right? These things are fine. Look at his ground line drive rate. It plummeted. It dropped. He doesn't hit line drives anymore, right? It's fine, though, because look at the underlying metrics. 368 ex-WOBA. That's good. It means that, maybe if he was a little luckier, and look, this 205 BABIP is not sustainable. When the BABIP goes up, the average will go up. When the average goes up and the power goes up, he'll have a monster year. He might put up an MVP year. This is his walk year, all that stuff. And then he lays an egg. 34 home runs is fine, but the strikeout rate goes up 24.7%. He's more passive. He swings way less, which is so weird. He's almost too passive. Look at the called strike rates, 19.2. He's taking so many strikes. He's letting so many pitches that he could crush by him. The zone contact rates are up. Why is he striking out so much more? It has to do with swing decisions. His swing decisions have gotten so much worse. He's so much less aggressive. He's so much less of a thumper. Now he's a passive hitter, kind of in between, in his own head. Free agent year, so many double plays, not going to help you on the base paths. Look at that BSR, negative 4.3. That's so bad. And the defense was taking steps forward. Look, 6 defensive runs saved. Look, 5 defensive runs saved. Oh no, we have negative 8 outs above average, negative 3 defensive runs saved. We're back to being a bad defensive first baseman. If it's a short-term deal, look, would I be kind of for it? Yeah, he provides power, but there are red flags galore here. Look, that BABIP, it jumped back up. The batting average on balls in play. That's why the average went down, right? BABIP went down, average went down. BABIP goes up, average stays at 240. OBP, 329. Yikes, right? Look at the slug, 519, 518, 504, 459. That's by far the worst of his career. God, this would just be, you're so worried about what the projections are going to be. Sure, 125 projections nice for your WRC plus. These are good offensive numbers, but they're a huge step back from his peak years. So I don't know. Alonso's someone who would have to take a 1 or 2 year deal. And I agree. Look, you don't want to overpay for, not because he's the Mets sloppy seconds. I don't care that he played for the Mets. I care that he's not someone you want. I don't want him to be someone that you pay long-term money to. There are legitimate concerns, guys. Again, worst power of his career. The worst power of his career. The BABIP comes back up. The average stays in the 240 range. If it jumped up to 260, maybe even 255, I'd be like, hey, this is a good average for a guy who's hitting as many home runs as he's hitting. The OBP is going to be good. And why am I talking about batting average? I don't love batting average because batting average helps OBP, right? Look at the walk rates. They're super stable. His walk rates have never been below 9% or above 10.4%. But the OBP, why is it so low now? Because of the average. The average is why it's low. He's not getting as many hits, and you have to get hits at a certain point to have a high OBP. The home runs are still there, but even then, he's not hitting home runs the way he used to. If he hits 40 home runs, hey, this is a 130 WRC plus hitter, someone you do give a 2-year deal to. Again, I just, I don't really think this is the kind of player the Yankees would target on a long-term deal. Let's look at the spray chart here, because I know someone's mentioning this. What is the fit at Yankee Stadium, right? Let's see right here. Excuse me. Saying that Yankee Stadium is built for righty is wild. Is that a Pete Alonso, Brian Cashman burner account? Yeah, let's take a look here at the spray chart overlaid over Yankee Stadium. In 2024, there are some opposite field home runs, but man, not all these are getting out, right? These are borderline fly balls. And then, this type of home run, is that getting out? Is this getting out? Is that getting out? Is this, that, right? Like, his expected home runs at Yankee Stadium are actually a lot worse than at Citi Field because his power to center field doesn't play nearly as well at Yankee Stadium. So, I don't think he'd be a great addition for the Yankees in terms of like a long-term deal. If it's a short-term deal, I'd still be skeptical. You'd still be trading a qualifying offer for him. And, your offense would get a lot better, but your defense, you'd have, man, he's a really brutal defender out there. He's truly, someone who might be ticketed for a DH spot at this point in time. I'm going to be honest with you guys. He may not be a major league first baseman in the near future. Stephen Kwan, he's not getting traded. It was Oppo. He does have opposite field power, but it's not nearly as good. Yeah, I wouldn't trade Schmidt and Arias for Naylor. That is a horrible trade. I would not do that. I agree. Would I flip Arias in a deal for him? Yes, but not Schmidt. Tsuruki Sasaki, odds we get him are very low. There is no one on the Padres whose money I'm interested in taking. Xander Bogaerts? No. It's Dylan Cease. I would love Dylan Cease, but I don't think the Yankees have the cachet to get him, nor do I think the Yankees are going to go out and get him. Cease, obviously a very high quality pitcher, and I don't know why I stopped sharing my screen. I keep doing that, guys. I'm so sorry. Dylan Cease, look, I said I wouldn't trade Spencer Jones for him last year because I thought he was going to be a better prospect, and whoa, did that age poorly, because if the Yankees traded for Dylan Cease instead of having Marcus Stroman, they'd be in a pretty good spot right now. So that is a miss for Ryan Garcia. 88 ERA minus, struck out 29.4% of batters faced. Home run rate went down. Walk rate went down. Strikeout rate went up. Swing and miss was way up from last year. Damage contact was, now its barrel rate was up. Hard hit rate was down. Home run per 9 was down. That's probably encouraging. BABIP was down. Throwing way harder. Throwing 96.9. That's cheddar. This is someone who 189, just eating up starts. And let's look at like how deep he was going into his starts, right? He was getting pretty deep into them. 6 innings, pretty consistently. Now, still has some 5 and fly to him, but the maturity of Dylan Cease, look at the stuff plus numbers. How was his stuff this year? Jumps up to 121. Pitching plus 107. That location plus, it was way up. So, I think Dylan Cease is an attractive trade chip for a lot of teams, just not someone I think the Yankees will be able to go after. Look at that fastball stuff plus, the fastball stuff plus, right in line, slider stuff plus goes up. His pitch usage, he just becomes a fastball slider guy basically. And he rode his slider a ton, stopped throwing the change, stopped really throwing the curve, got a fastball slider and just dominated hitters to that tune. San Francisco is interested in Stroman. Cubs want Taylor Rogers. Yanks get Bellinger. That was reported, was suggested, but let's run through the scenario here. And I actually think Taylor Rogers for Marcus Stroman is something that could make sense if you wanted to exclude Bellinger from this conversation, make it a 2-team deal. Taylor Rogers is someone who I just think kind of works for the Yankees. There are a couple of things that I really like. So 2.40 ERA, sure, run prevention, that's great, but we don't really care about run prevention. What about the underlyings? Now, the xFIP isn't great, 3.72. The FIP isn't great, 3.75. That's not great. That's roughly league average. Skill interactive ERA is pretty good. That's good. But look at this, 46.3% ground ball rate, 16.9% strikeout to walk rate. That's pretty good, right? 3.2 expected ERA. Yes, the home runs were up, but he wasn't really getting hit hard. Why did he give up so many home runs? I don't think he should give up that many home runs. 11.9% home run to fly ball rate is right in line with his career, but he gave up fewer fly balls. So I'm just so confused as to why he allowed so many home runs. I don't think he'll do so again. Strikeouts are down. That's a concern, right? This is the lowest strikeout rate he's had since 2017. Lowest swing strike rate he's had since 2017. Is there something the Yankees can do about that? Maybe it's bringing up that slider usage a little bit. I know it's been down from years past. He increased the sinker usage, decreased the sweeper usage. Slider not as dominant, not throwing it nearly as hard. He's throwing it, 80, 79. That's a little bit of concern. Maybe induces bringing back the four-seamer. Maybe brings in his cutter. Who knows? But Taylor Rogers, someone who you could probably get for free and is projected to be a roughly decent reliever. Better than anything the Yankees have from the left-handed side currently on their roster. I feel like Tatis would suck without his hair. I also feel like he's not getting traded to the Yankees. But yeah, I would love him, but it's not happening. He's not coming over here. The Padres are not trading him. And yeah, I think that first base rule, the aura you lose with the first base, with the beard rule, is quite stark. You lose some serious aura when you decide to shave your beards for some players. And I think Tatis would be a player whose aura would decrease, and perhaps that affects his performance, although that's speculatory, of course. Let's talk about, let's see what else. What other questions we got? We're going to wrap this up soon. But I really appreciate you guys showing up and showing out for me. I'm talking myself into Santander. That's a player. Let's talk about Anthony Santander. And I saw that, Robert, I see your question about who I want at first base. I will answer that, reveal that shortly. For Anthony Santander, wow. I mean, he had one hell of a season, 129 WRC plus, 44 home runs, 506 slug, 308 OBP isn't great, but we talked about this yesterday, right? He's bad at getting on base, but he's really good at slugging, and that makes him a pretty good hitter over the last 3 seasons, right? We're going to look at this here, 122, 119, 129. Again, in 4 of the last 5 seasons, he's been a very good hitter. Tons of pop, but the concern, and that's right here, yikes, Santander in left field. Yeah, yikes. Negative 9 outs above defensive run saved. Negative 8 outs above average. Sure, his DRS in right field is pretty good, but right field in Baltimore is like right through the Yankee Stadium. You just got to be all arm, no range. Wow, the defense in the outfield is brutal. I know people mention first base, but are you going to bank on 73 innings at first base? I don't love that. And, one metric says he's good. Another says he's not very good. So I don't think Santander is a great defensive fit for the Yankees. I think they'd want more defense. I think maybe they can stick Dominguez in a corner. Maybe they can do that. But God, left field, very concerned that he'll stick in left field, that being Dominguez. But tons of power. Bat plays so well in Yankee Stadium. It's a shame that he's not a better defensive player. I mentioned both of them. Yeah, I talked about both of them. I think they're really attractive options for sure. And this is the other thing too. Santander has a qualifying offer attached. That's a concern. You have to go draft picks to get him. Don't know what that would be. Nathaniel Lowe. Let's talk about Nathaniel Lowe trade, because I want to, and he is on the trade block from our understanding. Let's look at, this is something I wanted to talk about for a while. If I can pull up, I want the Rangers roster. Let's go to, I want roster resource. Am I not able to pull this up on a split screen situation? Let's see. Where is this? I want to pull up. There we go. Is this roster? No, Zips projections. There we go. Let's actually look at Zips projections. This will be very useful. Let's look at Zips projections and this bullpen. They have a -6 project. Do you guys see this? This is a -6.6 projection on WAR. -0.6. Good God, this group sucks. That bullpen is terrible. Terrible. And look, they're projected to be a solid team. but they have lost so many good relievers. So look at this right here. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. How can the Yankees use this to their advantage? Look at the position player group. It's so good. They've got so many bats. Man, it's almost like they can trade one of these bats and get an arm. That's not even counting with Jake Burger, who they just acquired. So how can we make this happen? Let's give them relievers. Let's look at these reliever projections. Good God, they're gross, right? They're disgusting, deplorable. It's our offensive projections. Let's look at the defense. Sorry, let's scroll past all this stuff. We got to look for pitching, excuse me. Gosh, man, it's rough. Look at these. Look, he's not Kirby Yates, not here. David Robertson, not here, right? Like they're not there. Those Andrew Chafin, even not there. Like these are some rough WAR projections. Let's see if we can get WAR projections for these guys. Yes, we can. God, it's rough, right? Like it's really, really, really bad. They brought Evaldi back. They don't have Scherzer, but they do not have a lot of like high WAR projection guys on the pitching side of the ball. Can you kind of coax them into trading low for relievers? I think you can. Could Jake Cousins, Ian Hamilton, can those guys be attractive pieces? They absolutely can. This is a team that needs pitching in any way they can get it. This is a team that is struggling to pitch. And maybe, just maybe, it makes me a little more incentivized to go after Nathaniel Lowe from the Yankees and this is a good package here. Rice and Cousins for Lau. Just kind of makes sense, right? It just kind of makes sense. So, that's kind of where I'm at. I think it's a deal that makes sense for both parties. With that being said, though, how are you guys feeling right now? How are we feeling right now about this stream? Because we're going to wrap up soon. I just wanted to get some final questions. Oh, the Max Fried one. Let's talk about that. I'm going to sneeze. I can't believe I got off of I'm going to sneeze and then covered my sneeze. That was really brilliant stuff by me. I'm very proud of myself right now. Why hasn't Max Fried been confirmed? So the Yankees took about 2 weeks to confirm the Judge signing and about a week and a half to confirm to make it official for the Judge signing. Max Fried does not have to make his deal official. Yes, it means nothing. It's up to the Yankees to announce it. That is a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. That is a great, great, great talking point. The Yankees do not have to do the Yankees do not have to do anything. They don't. So, yeah. Brenton Doyle is not getting traded, unfortunately. That's not happening. So, yeah. Is it Fried on vacation? I don't know. I don't know if that's a rumor. I haven't checked that one out. Anyway, Burns, no, I don't think the Yankees are going to sign Corbin Burns because it would require a draft pick. And if it requires a draft pick, they're going to get a bat. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Taylor Ward left field. I would love, I've mentioned this before. I would love Taylor Ward. Good bat. We've talked about him. Good bat. Let's see if we can get his Zips projection. I think the Angels have their Zips. Yes, they have. Let's get the Zips projections here because the Steamer projections are pretty solid. Zips. What does Zips think of Taylor Ward? Taylor Ward, 112 OPS plus projection. What do we've got for his home runs, his counting stats? They project him for, where are we? Taylor Ward, 24 doubles, 21 home runs. Man, I would freaking take that. Let's look at the OVP, 332, 428 slug, 250. This is just a solid player. And then let's look at let's look at the ceiling and the floor here. So 20th percentile OPS plus. So this is like one of the worst case scenarios, 89. 80th percentile OPS plus, 129. Oof, right? That's gaudy, right? That gets you jumping, right? What if he can be an 80? What if he can get there, right? What if he can make that leap? We're talking about quite a high quality ball player. I would love Nico Horner. Let's talk about Nico Horner a little bit. Let's talk about Nico Horner for a second before this will be one of the last players we discussed. I don't think the Cubs are going to trade him. And the reason I say that is because the Cubs kind of need a third baseman. They have Matt Shaw. They could play third, but they may want to just keep Horner, play Shaw at third, and not have to make another addition to the infield. But if they do make an addition at third base, then maybe they'll consider, I just don't think they want to start Matt Shaw to start the season. But Nico Horner, man, is a good ball player. And I think Yankee fans are going to be really pissed because we don't get this guy. I think we're going to be really upset when we look at his end of season numbers. 346, 335 OVP the last 2 years. That's a solid OVP. That's above Glaber's last year, right? 103, 104 WRC plus. That's right around Glaber's last year. 108 WRC plus the year prior. It's a little bit higher, 106. That's good stuff. This is good stuff, right? Look at the defense, the defensive production. This is one of the premier defensive second basemen. Oh my God, look at this defense. 37 outs above average, 26 defensive runs saved that second. Can pick it at short. He's a great defensive shortstop. Can play some third. It's a great defensive player, man. Up the middle, on the dirt. You want this guy. Good WPA that indicates, in big time situations, he's hitting, right? He's improving his production consistently is better than average in clutch situations. So if that's something you care about, that's something he brings to the table. High line drive rate, good line drive rate. BABIP was down. I think it should be up. Strikeout rate down. A lot of chase, but that's fine. He's just going to make contact with everything. Hit a ball harder than he's ever hit at any point in his career, 110 miles per hour. Man, this is a good ball player. 4 WAR, 3 WAR. This is a high quality ball player. So, yeah, I think, the world of Nico Horner, and I'm very sad the Yankees will not be able to acquire him. And, Vinny Pasquantino, probably not happening. We talked about Pete Alonso. I think it's a possibility, but a very low possibility. And I have the feeling the Yankees and a lot of teams I think are going to do this, kind of sit around and wait and see how this market goes. The Yankees don't need another starting pitcher. Burns seems to be the next big free agent to go. And, I also think, I don't think the Yankees should rush anything just for the sake of rushing something. I think the Yankees should be cool and calculated with their decision-making. They should not, they shouldn't be aggressive to just be aggressive. They should, wait out the market and go for that stuff. The fact that I don't. Okay, so this. We're going to talk about Cody Bellinger now. We're going to share this tab instead. We're going to talk about Bellinger because Bellinger has hit 18 home runs last year and he hit 20 something the year before. That's above average power. That's above average game power. And man, the swing plays at Yankee Stadium. Yeah, the swing plays. These 3 home runs wouldn't go out. Who cares? Everything here is going out. He would have had 24 home runs at Yankee Stadium if he played all his games there. 18 if he in the regular season. Man, this is a guy who can definitely take advantage of Yankee Stadium. This is someone who has, again, is the raw power good? No, the raw power is not very good at this point. Let's try this tab. Let's go to barrel rates. 6.3% barrel rate, below average. 87.8% exit velo, below average. 32.4% hard hit rate, below average. But look at this right here. Isolated power, 218, firmly above average. 161, that's a little bit below. Didn't hit as many doubles this year. Didn't hit the same amount of home runs. But man, at Yankee Stadium, would that play? And here's a big note from the 2024 season. He hit 10 home runs in 65 games on the road. A little more plate appearances, so, it kind of evens out. But 247 on the road, at home. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for this. Look at the isolated power. Way worse at home. Look at the slug. Way worse at home. Look at the WRC plus. Way worse at home. Let's look at, numbers against lefties. He's pretty solid, which is good. That means you can play him against lefties. And then we're going to go and we're going to look at park factor now. We're going to share this tab now. Let's look at park factor for left-handed batters. How do left-handed batters play in Wrigley? Left-handed batters in Wrigley have basically the same overall run production, but what about home runs? What about home runs at Wrigley Field? Look where Wrigley is, 90. Guys don't hit home runs from the left-handed side of Wrigley. Look at Yankee Stadium. And this, my friends, this is where Cody Bellinger would get the boost. It would be the home run total. His power would go up. And that's the problem. His game power isn't the problem. His raw power is the problem. So, this is a guy that, maybe it works. Maybe it works here. Maybe it doesn't work there, but it works here. Yeah. But with that being, and also Max Kepler would love Max Kepler. I would love Max Kepler. I think he makes so much sense for the Yankees. So, and Jake McCarthy, he makes sense. Maybe a little too high of a price for me to be all in on that. Yes, so I do understand the singles, but you are also trading singles for home runs, right? So you're same run factor, right? 99, but you're swapping it out for home runs. You're swapping it out. You're getting more home runs. That's something that plays better for Bellinger's game. Ballparks matter, right? Ballparks matter. That's what they do. Ballparks matter, folks. They do. So I think Bellinger plays better at Yankee Stadium. Smash the like button. Yes, smash the like button. This is our boys, Fireside Giants. If you guys are Giants fans, you guys check out Fireside Giants. They keep it real over there regarding the state of the team, which isn't particularly great right now. But check out Fireside Giants. We have an Instagram, a TikTok, a Twitter, and a YouTube page. Check out Fireside Giants if you are a Giants fan, long-suffering Giants fan at this point. Joe Urshela, no, and Ahmed Razar is a free agent, I think, but I wouldn't sign him either. So I didn't say don't get Bellinger. I said the Yankee. I never said that, to clarify. I love these guys. Let's go Fireside Giants. Let's go Giants. Let's hope that we actually can get a decent quarterback next season, which I don't know if that's realistic or not. With that being said, though, is there any more questions you guys like to fire in your final questions? We're going to start wrapping things up really soon. Because I it's been a little over an hour. There's not a ton going on. Kike Hernandez, I think he's a good utility guy. But I'm not 100% sure that we're going to be able to pry him away from the Dodgers. It would feel weird to see him in a different uniform at this point. He just kind of feels like an LA Dodger. And also, I mean, yikes, right? Yikes. This is bad. That's not good. Let's see. Tanner Scott, I think he's going to be overpaid. Not overpaid. I don't think the Yankees are going to go get him. I don't think they're going to get him at that price point. Xavier Edwards won't get moved. He's cheap. Jake Cronenworth, don't think the Yankees will take on that contract. Brendan Donovan would be a great fit for the Yankees. He's our love child here at Yankee Stadium and for the Fireside Yankees, excuse me. I think the chances of them getting him hinges on the chance of them moving a starter. The chance of them moving a starter that isn't Marcus Stroman feels pretty low right now. Luis Robert and Josh Naylor should be the moves. I think Luis Robert is someone that the Yankees have to give up too much for them to justify making the decision. Josh Naylor, maybe they can get Josh Naylor, but we shall see. And I would love Tim Hill. I would love Tim Hill to come back because he's a lefty and he makes sense for the Yankees. Lamont Wade Jr., Mike Yastrzemski. I like Mike Yastrzemski. Let's talk about Mike Yastrzemski a little bit. Lamont Wade Jr. fits this mold, but we're going to talk about Yastrzemski because we talked about Wade before. Mike Yastrzemski, 106 WRC plus last year, not dominant, but solid. 18 home runs, high power numbers, good pop, right? Good pop in that swing. Defense in the outfield, good defensive outfielder, right? He's got decent defensive numbers out there. He plays center field, he plays right field, he plays, kind of everywhere. He's got a good arm, all that stuff. A little bit of swing and miss, but I don't really care. Problem, lefties. Lefties are his problem. Kind of a similar situation to Marsh where you look at his numbers against lefties and you go, I don't think he can hit them. I don't know if he can hit them. I don't think Mike Yastrzemski can hit left-handed pitching, and that's a little bit of a concern, but it sucks because he plays so well for Yankee Stadium. Let's look at Mike Yastrzemski's tab here. He has good game power, good raw power still can hit the ball hard, still doesn't chase a lot, and look at the expected home runs. Good God, if he had 23 home runs, you give him 5 more home runs, man, that's like a 115, 120 WRC plus. So, it's unfortunate that he is not someone the Yankees will probably target because of the left-handed numbers, but yeah. I think Teoscar Hernandez won't play in left field in terms of being able to handle left field. Cashman should get creative for sure. Pavin Smith for little nothing. He doesn't play nearly enough. I'm not a Carlos Estevez guy. He's not a project pitcher. He's going to command a decently strong market. So, yeah. Join some Fireside Giants videos when they're QB hunting. We'll look into that. Bellinger isn't good. He smokes too much weed. Hey, not judging a man for smoking weed. If you could have the Yankees in one free agent, who would it be? Sign one free agent, who would it be? I think it's Christian Walker at this point, right? I think it's Christian Walker at this point. I think that's the guy where I feel the best about his market, who he is as a player, and what he brings to the table. Jeff Hoffman. I love Jeff Hoffman. He might get a starter contract. David Robertson, Tim Hill would love that. Sounds like there. We talked about that. We're going to wrap up here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys, tuning in and listening to the podcast and listening to the live streams. I know this one, late night one. It's a Monday night. You could be doing so much with your Monday night and you chose to spend it with us. Really appreciate that a lot. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You can check me out at Ryan Garcia ESM on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page. You guys can also read our articles on empiresportsmedia.com. If you want to check out what we've got going on, whether it's Fireside Giants, Fireside Rangers, or Fireside Knicks, check that stuff out as well. And subscribe to the Fireside Yankees channel if you're not subscribed already. We appreciate it a lot. Any support you guys can give us on that front would be, awesome. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you all again for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your Monday night. And as we approach the holidays, spend some more time with your family if you can. It's a very special time of the year. So, yeah, love you all dearly, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.